Hey there, it's Jeremy with the Level Designer, and this is my sixth video of week 2 for Blocktober. And if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, basically during the month of October, I'm going to be focusing on a new level design each week for the month of October. Last week we spent time in Unity working on a open world um, video game kind of with the theme of Viking zombies. So that whole playlist is on my channel if you want to check that out. And then this week, we are nearing the end of our first Unreal week here with the focus of first-person shooter multiplayer map with the theme of trick-or-treating. So that's what we've been working on this week. And as you can see, we made a few adjustments to the map that we created a few days ago. And I really shortened it yesterday. And I wanted to make the space feel a little bit more manageable for a multiplayer map, especially since the movement just wasn't fast enough for a larger map. So I really wanted to condense it. And then in Engine, I added some just some effects and kind of laid out the map a little bit more and put things like spawns and also kind of color coded a mechanic where every time every about maybe 2 to 3 minutes, two houses are chosen and they light up, and they are able for players to go and reload on candy ammo. Basically, a trick-or-treating mechanic, kind of to represent the theme of this level. So today, I feel like the only real thing left to do on this level is kind of filling in the blanks and putting some stuff, the environment with different obstacles that players can, um, hide behind things and whatnot. So that's what we're gonna do. So the first thing I'm gonna do in here is I'm gonna create more mailboxes. So these mailboxes I have turned into a group, as you can see. And what we could do with this is we can, copy and we can copy these mailboxes around, and we don't have to select a bunch of different shapes. So that's really great. So what I'm going to do is I had these mailboxes kind of in front of the driveway of the driveway of the houses, and I really don't want to do that. So we're just going to move these kind of to the side of the door here. Again, you might have to make some fine adjustments and whatnot, but what we could do is we can duplicate these and just continue to place more of them. So another thing that we're going to do is I'm actually going to create a new material. I'll actually just duplicate the blue here, and I'll call this gray. I'm just going to have a gray material. I'm just going to have this just be a very plain gray color. Maybe darken it a bit. I'm going to save. What I'm going to do with this gray material is I'm going to put it on the streets and sidewalks here, but I do want to make it a different color just because it's kind of hard to see. So I'll try to make it really stand out. So I just want to kind of get a good sense of I just want to get a good sense of where, you know, the streets and everything are. It does kind of have this shine to it, which I'm not particularly a fan of, but I think that's fine. Because what I want to do is I want to eventually add in different things. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to really size this down and size this out like this. And kind of what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to create like some parking lots that kind of just indicate a good kind of section. And of course, you could do this easily by going into the brush editing. That way, you know, if you have something like this, you could just select one of these faces and then just drag it out. And of course, what I'm going to do in this case is I'm just going to duplicate this, and then I'm just going to size this down. And what this is it's just a little like drive. It's a little driveway into the parking lot, just so you know, if you had any cars or anything, they'd be easily able to go in here. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna place that there quite yet. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna make a driveway here. And why I'm doing it here first is because I want to just make sure that this is a good kind of size for a car. Because we kind of have a scale reference as far as, you know, any car that would come into here. And, I mean, yeah, I think we could pull this out a little bit like that. And we can pull this out a little bit like that. I think that's a good size. And we can actually just drag that out there. So what we could do is we could duplicate this and just place it right here. I'm just trying to map out where like all of the just different driveways would go and whatnot. Just trying to get a good sense of that. 54. So I'm going to duplicate these and I'm just going to place them over here. Of course, you know, you might have to adjust, because not every house may be lined up correctly the same. But that's fine. I will deselect that and we'll select this again just to get everything good. So we have a few driveways there. And what we can do now is we can duplicate this. And move these over here. And again, you know, don't worry if it doesn't line up. That's why you have tools where you can line things up later. So we're just gonna go into here, select this face. If I can, I don't know, maybe I can't. There we go. I'll just slide that in. Let's actually slide these in like this. And then what we could do is through here. Well, maybe. I don't know, man. And we could also, you know, scale it this way. I mean, that's not going to be much of an issue either. What we could actually do is put these on here just to match everything up. That looks like it probably matches up pretty nicely. So we'll just kind of extrude that out. If you are gonna move these out like that, just probably wouldn't hurt to just make sure you don't oversize it. Just to be on the safe side. Never hurts to check your work and make sure that things are going. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Just wipe my nose. It's kind of gross, but. And then I'm gonna just copy this. I'll just move that over here. Placing another one. Placing another one there. You're probably asking yourself, you know, it's not like we have a bunch of driving in this game. Well, we don't have any driving in this game. We're just going around and shooting things, right? So why put all these, you know, driveways and stuff around? Well, the reason why I'm putting these in is so I have a clear indication of where everything is. Just in case we we could put cars in a driveway. We could map out a front yard and put a front yard gate, and we might focus on placing a few things like that around here. And you know, we have like mailboxes that, you know, exist in front of these houses, so we want to make sure that they're, you know, somewhat placed in the correct order. Just so, you know, it makes sense. You know, it might not be, doesn't have to be, you know, 100% perfect as far as like placement wise, but, you know, it never hurts to, you know, just go with your gut. I don't think we can select multiple ones of those, sadly. Let's brush. So we'll have to, I think, copy things one by one, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and copy another one of these. Did I copy it? Oh, I did, but no, I didn't. Oops. I'll make sure we copy. There we go. So again, we are just gonna place more of these mailboxes, and what what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to place them kind of where there would be space between the door, or where there's space for the door in between the mailbox and the driveway. Just because for me that kind of makes sense a little bit more than anything else. So that's what we're doing. A place there, one there. We don't necessarily have to leave out the business here. I mean, the business is probably gonna have mail come by, maybe. So we could put maybe like a little mailbox right here. And actually, let's put it here. Just because I think we have, these boxes right here, and then we have this mailbox, so maybe it may, yeah, I don't know. That makes the most sense to me for some reason. And we have we have this parking lot here, and this is a business over here, so we could really scale this down, but it might not hurt to have another parking lot here. So what we could do is just kind of place it and just kind of go there. We could also just make it even smaller and then just have it be placed there, and then copy one of these, and there you go. So it's just another kind of option that we can use as far as using kind of just the space around. So we have mailboxes on that side, so we might want to add some on the other side. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm just going to move these over here. I'm going to focus on this shape, and then I'm just going to place these real fast. Kind of place it kind of up next to the sidewalk. You just want to get a good, a sense that, people live in these places. There's different, things going on. So I have kind of the mailbox thing going here. So what we could do is we could actually copy one of these and place more mailboxes over here. And see, we didn't even have to rotate or anything because I just used the one that's already facing in the right direction. So, never hurts to just kind of make certain shortcuts like that. Makes things kind of go by faster. I usually don't really worry too much about the hierarchy over here. Just because, I'm just trying to play around with shapes and whatnot, but it does kind of help if you order some things, but you could always go back and order things around and rename and do all that later. So yeah, for that reason, I don't really go too crazy on that stuff. So we have so we kind of have these front yards here. You could keep them open. I think I'm gonna keep them open just because I do have these predefined backyards. I think having like fences and stuff in the front yards would actually maybe just be too much. But that's not to say that we can't have something like that. Or we can't have things in the front yards to use for like cover and whatnot. And actually, I encourage that. So what we're gonna do is again, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna just place more trees around. I always feel like trees are kind of my go-to for creating levels, just because you can really place trees anywhere and have them make sense, and they're really just a nice go-to, especially when you're working on outdoor environments. You can never have too many trees. I don't, I feel like, I really feel that way. Just because trees just, they, they work in a lot of different areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some trees in these backyards to really, hopefully, what I can do is kind of um, sell the idea that these are in fact backyards. I might not put a lot of trees in here. Not a lot of people may have at most 1 to 2 trees in their backyard. So again, I'm just trying to place them in a different area, and I'm not even opposed to having a tree in front yards too. So maybe for like any house that has 1 tree in their backyard, maybe they have, you know, maybe they have 1 tree in their front yard. And this is just to make it look kind of just different and interesting. And we can always, have other trees exist in front of these houses. Maybe they're not as prevalent, maybe, but we could always just go ahead and add them. And trees also provide a good kind of cover, too. They don't necessarily have to, be just for decoration. You could always use them for more cover. We could add, some trees for kind of like to block out the line of sight of things. So maybe there's a small little wall of trees here. And we can even add in one right here. And even like from a just a realistic standpoint too, it wouldn't be too out of the ordinary for trees to align a house, align against a house like this, especially when you think about, there's a commercial business area over here. If they have lights going on, especially at night, a tree would be a good way to, block some of that light. So that's something that we can really use to our advantage. I don't like this last tree though. I think it's a bit much. I think that works fine. So again, just trying to make sure that I have. Yeah. So again, we're just gonna copy trees here and there. We're gonna try to keep things relatively simple. This again is an area where you'd have to go and get candy from the trick-or-treating. So we could also put in some obstacles here to make it look a bit more interesting. Again, we can put trees. Whoa, that's definitely not what I want to do. I want to go around and then move it on the Y and X axis, so I can play around with the direct placement of these trees. So again, I'm just gonna make these kind of different a bit. I'm gonna probably move this one up, and then we'll have one here. We'll have one here, and we'll move this up. And we'll have two in this backyard. So we could have one there. And then we can have one here. So, you know, when they go in the backyard here, you know, they'll have to, you know, kind of maneuver their way around these trees. Ah, excuse me. So we'll, I'm not quite done with the trees here. Oh. We'll select that, and then we will select that. And then I'm going to put some trees in the front yards here. So with this, I'm going to place a tree here. I'm going to place a tree here. I'm going to move this up a bit. So I'm going to move this kind of, yeah, put it there. So we have a good kind of selection of trees, and I think that's a really good start with placing things. Another thing that I might add too is some street lights. And before I do that though, I'm going to place these parking lots, and just make sure that this spawn object is going to be higher than the parking lot itself. But that shouldn't be any sort of issue. I'm just gonna, yeah, have that right there. And then I'm going to just copy and kind of paste. And really, all these parking lot kind of squares can all be the same. It won't be too much of an issue. And you just copy and paste these, and I'm just trying to create a sense of you know, purpose, and try to really get a good sense of everything. So next I'm going to make some street lamps. So I am going to create a box for this, and I'm going to place these probably like right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the top half here. I might size this accordingly. So if I just go, maybe, there we go. Just size that down a bit. And I'm gonna go into the move, and then what I'm gonna do is extrude. But I'm just gonna move it up just a bit. I'm gonna move it back down. And I'm just going to size it down if I can. I don't know. Don't think so. Oh, because I am in extrude, I need to go into edit mode. So make sure that you're like in edit mode for stuff as well. I think I messed this up though. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing right now. So I'm just gonna keep going back until I am back to where I am comfortable making this again. Okay. I think this is just, whoop. Yeah. Okay. So again, I'm going to hit extrude. Okay, so I didn't actually extrude it. I think I actually need to size this down again. So I'll size that down. I'm gonna hit extrude. What I'll actually do is I'll size it down here. I'll actually keep it up. I don't think that will be too bad. And I'm just gonna extrude it up really high. Oh, I'm making like multiple extrudes. Again, I don't want to do that. I'll try to keep as much. I want to try to keep things as simple as possible. So I'm just going to go, again, you can kind of just make sure that things are good sized. I'm going to scale this down a bit. Maybe scale it up just a bit more. Just going to move this up. Again, that might be a little bit high. Again, we want to make sure that these are decent size. So I might lower it again. And then now I'm going to extrude this. Then I'm going to select. I'm going to really turn the camera speed down because I just feel like that's going to make it easier. So now I'm going to extrude this out here. I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to select this bottom edge. And I'm just going to put that up there. And then I'm going to select this face. I'm just going to hit extrude. I'm just going to move that out. Don't really know how this is going to work, but I will do my best. Okay, so I'm going to just extrude these out just a bit. Okay. So we have a street light. It might not be the most realistic looking street light, but we got one. And I just really want to mainly use it for, you know, cover and whatnot. So again, and it never hurts to go and just play test and make sure everything is looking good size wise. Check all the mailboxes. I have a street light that goes off on the street, and it's pretty big. So I mean, as far as being a kid goes, it seems a bit huge, right? So I think it's perfect. So what we can do now is we can select this and we can just copy it. Oh, we'll want to go into edit. So I'm just going to copy these and just place them every now and again. I might not go too crazy on them, but might not hurt to have them in front of see, I think that's too much. I think every 2 houses would be actually better, and instead of having these all congregated in one spot, we can really just space these out. Yeah, I like that much better. I think that looks really good. So we have these. So what we could do is we can duplicate these, move them over to this spot, just make sure they line up properly. And what we could do is we can select the 140. So we can select all these, and then we could just probably just duplicate and spin these around to 180. And just line these up like this. And we can also move these down. Again, we'll want to make sure that they kind of fit. So, you know, might not hurt to go back and just make sure, like, hey, do any of these, like this one, go into a driveway or something? We won't necessarily want that. So we could just make sure that they aren't in the way. And like this one, we can move more from the house. I think that's totally fine. So that's kind of looking good. That's looking good. We can place that there. Just want to make sure that nothing is out of the ordinary. So we have that going. So I think what we can do now is let's just start placing some just some cars and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into here, and I'm just going to make a really rough car shape. Again, let me move down my camera speed, just so I'm not working too hard at trying to get things going. So I'm just going to just move this out like that, move it out like that, kind of act as the hood of the car. I'm going to go into here. I guess it's not working. Come on. Select the face. I guess it doesn't like that face. Why? Oh my gosh, I can't select anything. This is not, like, good. There we go. Select this face, please. Please, can you select the face? No? Okay, I'll just do that. Whatever. I don't even care. Okay, so I'm gonna extrude this. out to here. And I'm going to extrude it again. And this, I'm going to move up. So I'm going to move up a bit. I am going to extrude again. And then I'm going to go into edit. I'm going to kind of move it out like that. Maybe in like that. I'm going to go back into edit and I'm just going to fix these sides so they're not too crazy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and for some reason it just looks kind of odd. So what I could do is I could duplicate and just name this light gray. Well, that other gray material isn't very gray. It's kind of it's kind of blackish. So that's fine. We can just keep it like that. We could put that material on here too if we want. If it allows me to. I don't know. It just seems like okay. I'll have to put the material on like certain sides and whatnot. But I just want to clearly mark the car. Make the car super noticeable. It doesn't have to stand out either. I just want to make sure I know where the car is at. So with that in mind, let's go and move this over like that. And again, just like kind of with everything else, we want to make sure that it's kind of just scale. So what we could do is we could go into play mode and just walk over and see how big this car is. So we might have to walk a bit, but that's fine. Just get a good sense of the scale and everything. Again, as a kid, you know, cars aren't that. They're kind of big. They're big machines. So yeah, I think that is a really good size for a car. I can't complain. I actually might even move this up a bit, just to make it more car-like. And you could even also you could add in cylinders. Let's just do that. Let's just add in cylinders just because it's a car, right? We want to make sure that it, you know, makes sense for it to have wheels. Again, it doesn't have to be super crazy. Just be very plain basic wheels. So we could just copy this. Place these on the other side. And we have a car. And we can also, you know, if we want to move these down, we can do that. And then this is that box brush, and it's these four. We can just move, should be able to move all of this up. So just move all of this up. I think that is decent. We might scale all this down, but before we do that, I'm going to group all these together. I'm just going to scale this down a little bit, and we might have to move around some stuff, because you can kind of tell it doesn't really, it wouldn't even fit the wouldn't even really fit the garage. Again, we want to make sure that it's, Yeah, that would actually work. So now that we have all of that going, let's groups. Let's just ungroup this for now. And let's select all of these. And let's just replace all of these again. So we have that. Select these two. Let's have that go out to there. I think that is super. I think that's great. But my kind of my picky brain though is saying wrong. That the way that these wheels are laid out, the car wouldn't really have that much support, I don't think. So if we move them out there, I think that looks much better. That's doable. I can live with that. So let's select that, and then I'm gonna go into these four, and we will group this again. And we got a car. And again, we could select this car as a group, and we can copy it. We can move it around, and we could place it as like an object or something that you could possibly hide behind. So maybe there's a few cars parked in this parking lot right here. Definitely can account for that. There could be cars that are in front of the street here. So people always park in front of streets. Again, this isn't really wide street, but since we're not really driving, we're not gonna have cars going one way or the other. I think it's fine to just have like some cars parked. We're gonna try to put as much kind of like cover and stuff anyway, so I don't really think it's gonna matter all too much. And we could place cars on the other side of the street. And we can place cars. We just place cars wherever. Like, we don't even really have to worry too much. Maybe there's some cars here in this parking lot of the elementary school. Though that's going to be kind of unrealistic because the elementary school is going to be closed because it's going to be set during the nighttime. So we're going to get rid of those. But we actually could move this over to this parking lot. It's a police station. I think that one is. So yeah, we can maybe place one more car. Place a car kind of down here, maybe. I'm not done. I love placing things. It's my favorite. We're gonna put a few cars in this parking lot. And this is the grocery store. Maybe the grocery store is open. Grocery stores don't usually close like too early, so maybe a few can. Especially if you live in a smaller town. Again, these cars aren't like too. They're just very primitive in shapes, so we don't even have to really worry too much about them looking different. We just want to give the sense of like, hey, these are cars parked in a parking lot. We want to give that kind of impression off. Ugh, excuse me. So yeah, I think what we have right here is a good kind of start to placing things around the level. You have areas where you can hide behind certain posts and whatnot, and then you have all of these cars just kind of in the area. So if you wanted to, um, hide behind one of these cars, you could, and they're decent size. I mean, they're good sized for from a kid perspective. And yeah, like what I really love about what I've done here is just everything just feels big, but not too big in a way where we're like an ant or anything. Like we feel like a kid. I really do feel like I've done a good job with sizing everything according to scale. So that's kind of one of the things I'm really liking about this. But it looks really kind of good. We might move the speed counter to be a little bit more faster. I think that would really help out with just the speed of everything. We might not adjust it too much, but we can always work on things like that. So let's go and see character movement, max acceleration, curvy skill, walking. Here we go. Max walk speed. So I have that at 1,000 right now. So what we could do is just maybe do 1,500. Yeah, I'm going a little bit more faster. I think it works. You can kind of get around the map a little bit more quicker. And you're a kid. You might have to take a few kind of creative liberties just to make sure that it feels fun. With a game like this, you want to make sure that you're not moving too slow. Just so if it just feels like you're taking your time getting to a certain place, it's just gonna not be fun. You're gonna lose people. But I think that's fine. Another thing you could do what we could do to clean this up is just apply kind of this gray to all these houses so they don't look so weird. I didn't like texture these houses or anything in Blender, so they just don't look the best. But I think with that in mind, we could just clean these houses up, and they might even pop out a bit more, and be a little bit more lighter. I think that's perfectly a viable option. So yeah, I'm happy with this right now. Next tomorrow is gonna be the last video for this certain map, so we could really take the time to place down more objects. Again, we have one side of the map that barely has any cars, so we can start with placing cars on the other side of the map, and then we could just kind of place various just just pieces of cover, and really just kind of try to fill out the empty spaces, especially kind of in front of these retail stores. I think that would be very helpful to just make sure that those areas don't feel so empty. But anyway, with that in mind, I want to thank everybody for watching my video. This has been a very fun, period making all of these videos. So I want to thank everyone who's, took the time to watch them. And again, if you have any feedback, suggestions or questions, feel free to comment down below. And, if you want to keep up to date to when these videos come out, especially after Blocktober, feel free to subscribe to get those notifications. But I will see everybody later. Have a great weekend if you're watching this before the weekend's over. And yeah, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. So have a great day. See ya.